Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome back to more of the Sonic Adventure playthrough. Last time we finished up Sonic's story and we're going to move on to the next story now. So, obviously we work with Sonic, which means next we got to work with his favorite buddy in the world, Tails. That's right, we're going to be doing the Tails story next. As I alluded to at the end of the last video, Tails' story is very, very similar to Sonic's. We'll see a lot of the same locations. I feel like overall, though, Tails' story is shorter. It has way less levels, and there is kind of a specific gimmick with Tails' levels that will, in general, make it a bit faster than Sonic's playthrough. But I'll get into that when we actually start that level. But yeah, Tails... Honestly, I think Tails, and I mean, I love Sonic's playthrough because it's where, you know, the main part of the game actually is. But as far as, like, all the other character storylines, I feel like Tails is my favorite character to play as, just because he controls very similarly to Sonic, and he also has the power of flight, which makes getting through all the overworld areas a lot faster and a lot more fun, too. So I'm definitely gonna be enjoying this. And also, as far as cutscenes are concerned, I'm not going to skip any cutscenes, even if there are cutscenes that we have essentially seen in Sonic's story, because there is actually a unique quirk to this game where all the cutscenes are actually, at least in terms of the dialogue anyway, are actually different from in other stories, and we'll definitely see that come into play as well. But yeah, I think we've done enough talking. Let's actually get the story started with Miles Tails Prower.
Here I come, Sonic! Everything's working great! All systems go, full speed ahead. Uh-oh, what's this? No!
Well, that's a shame. He got dangerously close to a lot of buildings, I have to say. So, my God, Tails.
You're lucky I saw you come down. So what went wrong anyway? It's not like you to crash like that.
Yeah, it's just that I'm testing a new prototype power supply, and it's not fully compatible yet.
You can always borrow my plane, the Tornado, if you want.
Thanks, Sonic. But if I can make this work, it'll run circles around yours. Check out this power supply!
It's a Chaos Emerald! No way!
I was lucky to find one of the 7 Chaos Emeralds. They have unlimited mystic power. Now I want to harness that power to fly my plane. Let's go to my workshop in the Mystic Ruins, and I'll show you what I've been working on. We'll go to the station, hop on a train, and get there in no time.
So yeah, it was the exact same cutscene that we saw in Sonic's story, but there's definitely some differences just in terms of how they deliver the lines and whatnot. Anyway, so yep, here we are with Tails. You can actually fly with Tails, and my God, he actually does fly like really, really fast here. What's even more hilarious is there's actually a power-up that'll make him fly even faster than this, which is absolutely insane to think about. But yeah, this is just kind of why I like Tails. It's just kind of fun to fly around, and because of this, I'll probably be collecting all the adventure mode emblems, or at least most of them anyway, with Tails. Just because he moves a lot faster than Sonic, at least in terms of like getting to places. And there's a lot of emblems that will require the use of Tails anyway, so I think at the end of the day that just makes the most sense. So before we go to the train in the Mystic Ruins, there is something I want to show off. Well, okay, I can't do that. I can show off this though, so it's not completely out of question. We're going to go to the sewer right here, and when we reach the end, we can actually fly up here, and we have Tails' first upgrade.
Look, it's your jet anklet. Its jet power makes you fly faster.
So yeah, if you thought Tails flew pretty fast, he can fly even faster now. So honestly, it is probably a good idea to get this now, just because a lot of Tails' stages, well, much like Sonic's, I guess, will be dependent on speed, but in a much different way. And again, we'll see that play out as we go through this. But that's actually all we can do then, since the other area is blocked off, so let's go ahead and go straight to the Mystic Ruins again. So as you can see, story is playing pretty much the same as Sonic's story. The big difference being that we don't have to go through Emerald Coast like Sonic did, so we literally start Tails' story right after that. That's one way that the Tails story is pretty abridged from the other stories. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and do this too, because as you know, I found 2 Chao Gardens in the Sonic playthrough, but I didn't find the third one. The third one is actually located over here, I believe. You want to go in this cave at the very end of the area, and I believe all you do is just hop right into this minecart. But before I do that, there is another thing I want to show off, because throughout the adventure world, there are actually 3 Chao eggs you can get. There may be more, but I know about these 3 specifically. There's actually a Chao egg in this waterfall right here. It's kind of in this little mechanism. And if you want to get it, all you have to do is go over here and press this button. And that will actually knock out the Chao egg. So, I don't know if we can grab this. I think we have to wait for it to actually get to shore. But this is the silver Chao egg. You'll find the silver one here in the Mystic Ruins. You'll find the gold one in Station Square. And there's actually like a black Chao egg in the egg carrier. I will be getting all the eggs. And I will actually be using one of these 3 specific Chao's eggs for the Chao that I use for the all the Chao emblems I have to get at the very end of the playthrough. So if you guys have a preference on which Chao you want me to use, I am going to link a straw poll in the video description. So if you want to vote on which Chao you want me to use, I will be picking that specific Chao, and we'll be using that for all the Chao races at the very end of the project. So if you want to do that, please, yeah, go vote in that poll, and we'll have a good time picking which Chao I want to use. But yeah, here is the Mystic Ruins Chao Garden. I'm going to go ahead and throw this egg, and there it is. There's our silver Chao. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and vote for the poll too. I'm going to vote for this guy because I think he looks cool. Everyone says, you know, gold means you're using the best, but I don't know. I think silver is a cooler color, at least in my opinion. And also, again, these teleporters, I don't think you can actually use them right now. I think you have to actually wait till the end of the game before you can use them, because they do actually warp you to all the other Chao Gardens. And I think that's the reason, like, they don't want you to actually go to an area you're not supposed to be in. I'll even go ahead and take this Chao here, just to verify. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Yeah, okay, so they just don't want you to go to that area. I think at the end of the game, you can actually have the free range of actually going to any of the areas you want. But right now, because they don't want you to actually visit areas you're not supposed to be in, they don't allow you to do that, at least right now anyway. So yeah, I wanted to very quickly show that off. And yeah, I'll try to show off all the other Chao eggs whenever they become relevant. I won't be able to get the black Chao egg, though, until Amy's storyline, though, so let's not worry about that.
Well, if it isn't Sonic and Tails.
It's Eggman!
Silence! I am Dr. Robotnik, the most cunning scientific genius in the world!
Yeah, right, Dr. Eggman.
Enough! I knew what you were master plan, but now it's time to put it to work!
That usually means trouble coming from you.
Don't even try to interfere this time. Give me that Chaos Emerald, or else...
Or else what, huh?
Or else I'll take it from you the hard way.
Okay, let's try to take it from me the hard way again, I guess. Okay, so once again we have this boss fight. The Egg Hornets. Now, with Tails, I can't cheese this boss fight as easily as I did with Sonic. Because Tails does not have the homing attack, as you've already probably guessed. So I'm going to have to just wait for Eggman to do this, and then jump right into him. You can also do this little ball move he has. Tails can also use his tails to attack as well. But yeah, without the homing attack, we do have to kind of wait this boss out a little bit, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. And this is a very rinse and repeat type of boss fight, where it's literally just wait for him to do this one thing, wait for him to leave himself open, attack, and that's really all it is. And I think every phase he adds on more missiles, but then he just kind of does the same thing again, so... Very easy, nothing to worry about. And there we go. Take that, Eggman. Oh god, okay. Apparently he's still, he can still get hurt after he's been destroyed, so be careful. I did not know that. That's kind of funny.
That was just too easy.
Gotcha!
Hey, he snagged it.
Chaos could use a little snap.
Who's Chaos?
That's the monster I saw the other day.
Monster?
Yes, it's really happening. Just as the stone tablet said it would. Hear this, Sonic. Chaos' strength increases every time I give him a Chaos Emerald. All he needs is 7 emeralds to become invincible. Then he will turn Station Square into rubble, upon which I will build the ultimate city, Robotnik Land. You ready, Chaos? Let's go now. Come on.
Thank goodness they're gone. Good riddance.
We can't let that monster get any bigger. It could get ugly.
You're right. Chaos must be stopped. And he can be if we keep him away from more emeralds, right? So what do you say, Sonic? Let's find the Chaos Emeralds before Eggman does.
Okay, so that's it for that boss fight. Very quickly. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but yeah, there is an emblem over here. And with Tails, it's a lot easier to get. I think you can get it with Sonic still. You have to use kind of a spin dash and then jump at the right time from over here. But again, just using Tails makes it a lot easier, just because Tails can fly and Sonic can't. So there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the Windstone, because we are getting ready to do our first level for Tails, which is Windy Valley. And this is something interesting that we kind of talked about in the Puddle Plains playthrough. But as far as the dialogue differences between stories, one thing that I think is kind of cool, especially with Tails, is that in Tails' version of the story, Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Eggman sounds a bit more menacing, which we kind of concluded is because Tails' story, because he's not as heroic as Sonic is, it's kind of his way of showing that he's trying to get stronger to face all of these evils that because he is the type of character that he is, he's kind of the sidekick, not really the hero. He's probably, you know, more prone to be scared of, like, bigger threats to the world. So, because of that, the dialogue changes kind of reflect that, and that Eggman sounds more menacing and less like a cartoony villain as he is in the Sonic storyline. Which I think is a cool way of looking at it anyway, but that's just how I feel about it. Let's go ahead and leave this stone right here, and we'll open up Windy Valley. So, as far as Tails stages, for the most part, they're very similar to Sonic's, but Tails has the added mission of actually, in his levels, you have to beat an opponent. Usually it's Sonic, because, well, Sonic is with us throughout this entire adventure. But there is one stage where he'll have a different opponent, and we'll see that later. But yeah, all of Tails' stages are races, for the most part, so we need to get to the very end of the stage before Sonic does. That may sound like a hard thing to do, because we are racing Sonic the Hedgehog, the fastest hedgehog alive. But it's actually a little more convenient that we're using Tails here, because, well, for one, Tails has the power of flight. And he can actually use that power to flight to skip huge sections of the levels. And because of that, it's honestly a lot easier to get to the end, and a lot faster for that matter. Yeah, that's kind of the main aspect we'll be working with as far as Tails' playthrough is concerned. Just trying to get through these levels really fast, using all the shortcuts that you can to get to the end. And again, it's just kind of a cool way to go through these levels, because they could have just given you the same exact levels that you did with Sonic, just to do with Tails. So thankfully they changed it up quite a bit, and that's nice. It's definitely nice for the next What the hell? I don't know what it is with those leaf sections. I somehow screw them up all the time, and I have no idea why. Maybe I just get like a little impatient with my button inputs or something. I mean, that's gotta be it, I think, at this point, because all of a sudden I just start like flying off into like nowhere. Okay, so when I get to that point, I'm not gonna press anything, because I think I was still pressing the A button. So in that transition, I was just flying away from the transition, which is probably what I should have not done. And yeah, we're fine. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this ring box, and we are done. Also, I do find that the AI for Sonic and your opponent in general is kind of derpy at times. Sometimes they'll just take a really long time with one section, but then they also tend to rubber band as well, where, yeah, they have trouble with one section, but then they get ridiculously fast through another one, so just a couple of things you have to look out for. So yeah, we're done with Windy Valley, which means our next stop is, yeah, Casinopolis. Oh no, not Casinopolis. We took forever when we did this level the first time. Well, thankfully, due to the nature of Tails' gimmick, the requirement for Casinopolis is not as bad as you would think it would be, so we'll see that in action in a little bit. Before I do, though, now that we're actually back in the overworld here, there is something I want to investigate. We're going to go to this side of town. I may not even be able to do this either. We'll have to see. But if we go over here to this area, you will see some grass. And if you dig the grass just right, you can find another emblem. So that is another emblem right there. I don't think there's anything else we can get at the moment, so I think we can go ahead and move on. So yeah, we need to get to the casino. There is actually a shortcut to this casino in the train station. You don't have to go through the hotel. If you just go not over here. Actually, is it over here? Yeah, okay, yeah. If you just go down in this little tunnel right here, you'll be in the casino area immediately. But before we check out the casino, we're going to fly up here and find, if the camera will allow it, another emblem. And Sonic the Hedgehog was added to the list. In the DX version of Sonic Adventure, I think anyway, I'm pretty sure that this was just in the GameCube version, or the DX version as it's called. The more emblems you collect, you can actually unlock a variety of Sonic games. They're mini Sonic games. It's not the Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis version. I believe it's the Game Gear version, if I remember correctly, but we'll verify that later on. But yeah, if you collect all the emblems, you'll get a bunch of different of those other mini Sonic games, so another incentive to try to find as many emblems as you can collect. But we don't need the Lightspeed Dash to open Casinopolis. We can just fly up there, and yeah, let's enter this level. So in Tails' stage, we don't have to actually do the ring grinding that we had to do as Sonic. Literally, we're just racing through the sewer section that we went through before. So this makes this level a whole lot more tolerable, and if anything, it makes this level ridiculously short too, because this is not a very long area to get through. I don't know why I'm going so slow right here. So yeah, it's kind of nice that we don't have to do the Casinopolis grinding twice. And I'll go ahead and reveal it now. No other characters will have the Casinopolis grind that Sonic does, so we'll never have to worry about that for the rest of this playthrough until we do like the emblem stuff, which that's a different story, but we'll get into that later. Obviously at the end of the playthrough. And yeah, we're already almost done. And it's funny because the emerald is not even in the vault like it was before. It's literally just right here. Just in the sewers, chilling out. They obviously didn't care to hide it as well as they did before.
That wasn't too bad.
I guess they were like, no one's going to grind for this emerald. Let's just throw it in the sewers and never worry about it.
What's that? The Chaos Emerald!
Get away from there!
Ah!
Nighty night!
Well then, it looks like we got gassed again. You hate to see that.
Sonic, what happened to the Chaos Emerald?
Eggman got one of them, but the other one's safe. He must be getting desperate.
Now the emerald count is 2-1 and Eggman's winning. Let's get a move on.
That sounds like a good idea. Cream! Cream, come back! No. Oh well. One other thing I'm going to do in Station Square before I finish this off. Because yeah, it wants you to go back to the Mystic Ruins with that ice key. But before I do, I want to go ahead and get the gold Chao egg taken care of, because it's actually not too hard to take care of. You have to go back in this area again, and in one of the shops, I believe this one, you can actually see it in the window right there. However, we can't just go in and grab it, because this is a department store. Obviously they know that, hey, you can't steal that, that's made of gold. Well, because security is extremely stupid, we can actually manipulate this in our favor. If you go back over here, you'll find this rock. This is not a Chao egg, this is literally a rock, so you can't get any other use out of this aside from this. But you want to go in here, place the rock down, pick up the egg, put the egg right here, and put the rock on the pedestal instead. And there you go. We got our gold Chao egg. The guy even saw us leave the room without the egg, but he still was like, you know, I guess that rock's good enough. So, there we go. We have a gold Chao egg. Now, I think there are other ways you can get these Chao variants. You don't have to, also I went in the wrong room. You don't have to get these specific adventure eggs. But, it's nice to get these because they're free, because I think you have to spend a lot of rings to get another variant of these particular Chao eggs, so that's why I wanted to get these out of the way and showcase how to get these before we get too far into the playthrough. And yeah, that's how we get the gold Chao egg. Let's go ahead and break it open. And as I said in the, well, I don't know if it's this video still or the last video, but if you want to vote on which Chao you want me to use in the Chao stuff when I get around to that, go into the video description. There is a straw poll, and you can vote for the gold Chao, the silver Chao, or the black Chao that we still have to get. Also here, it does allow us to warp now. I guess because we can get to that area, because it does allow us to get to the Mystic Ruins very easily, and it's always accessible. That's why the warp exists there, but yeah, we can't do the Eggman warp, or the Eggman garden yet. Actually, now that I think about it, the reason why we might not be able to do the Eggman garden, or the warp there, is probably because we didn't break open a Chao egg. Now that I think about it. Which, if that's the case, my bad. We'll do that later, I guess. So let's go ahead and grab the ice key, or the ice stone, and head back to the Mystic Ruins, because we need to go to Ice Cap again. So yeah, as you can see, it's definitely playing through all the events of Sonic's story. Doing it at a much rapid succession, though. It helps that we only had to do like half of Windy Valley, and then only the sewer section of Casinopolis. And Ice Cap is also very short by comparison as well, so Ice Cap is going to be another very quick stage too. So let's go ahead and grab the ice stone and then head up here. Place it on its pedestal as usual. And then let's go to Ice Cap.